Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
You know, I really love my job. I'm very lucky. Sometimes it is a job. Most times it's just me with a big smile on my face being a nerd. But like sometimes, yeah, you don't want to record or whatever else. And it's funny because recently, you know, whenever I meet people and I tell them what I do, I usually get one or two responses. Like, wait a second, you talk about the 49ers? Like, that's all? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, so like once a week, twice a week? And I'm like, no, like 4 times a day. They're like, wait, what are you talking about? It's off season. And then I'll explain like, well, we're doing like this roster countdown series. And everybody's like, wait, so you do every single player on the roster? And I'm like, yeah. And then the last question is like, even the punters and kickers? And I'm like, yup, sure do. Every single one of them. And so here we are at number 36, Mitch Wishnowsky, the punter, which, let's just be honest, my criticism of Mitch in the past, just where he was drafted, it was never about him. I don't believe in drafting punters and kickers outside of the top 5th round. Like, top 5 rounds should be for players that play positions that are offense and defense, and I think 6th and 7th round, I don't mind that. Mitch Wishnowsky was a 4th round punter. Jake Moody was a 3rd round kicker. I have issues with the allocation of draft capital on those positions. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch would say, well, we had a full roster. With the other guys that were on the board we didn't think could make the team, so the only spot we had open was a punter. I think that is just a very nearsighted approach to the value capital, but that does not mean Mitch Wishnowsky is not a hell of a player. Shout out to my man Dave, the executive producer of today's show. Just on the last 3 years, 2022 countdown, Mitch Wishnowsky was 52. 2023 countdown, Mitch Wishnowsky was 44. Now he's at 36. This dude just climbing. And you could argue maybe he had one of the best Super Bowl performances, like might have been his best game of his entire career. 4 punts out of 5 inside the 20 in the Super Bowl. Dude showed up clutch. He did his damn job. And I think he's coming off the best season by a mile. We'll talk about his contract. We'll talk about the numbers, the analytics, all those things. Now, Mitch has changed his number this year. He's changed his number a few times. Was number 6 as a rookie, then switched to 18. Now he's jersey number 3. So you've got lots of, you know, what it is. So those of you who have your Mitch Wishnowsky number 18 jersey, you got to get another one, the number 3. 6'2", 220. He is a big dude, man. And you see him out there. You know, I was at training camp, and I saw a player working off to the side in shirt and shorts, and I was like, oh, George Kittle's not playing. He looks like George Kittle. From afar, you know, I was, you know, on the sidelines, you know, maybe, I don't know, 50, 60 yards away. It looked like George Kittle. He's that big. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. Kittle called me out, rightfully so. But Mitch is no joke. You know, for the thumbnails that I create for YouTube for this series, like I look up pictures on every player and I got to crop and, you know, edit and and, you know, whatever, put them in the thumbnail. Like you type in Mitch Wishnowsky and you see some pictures of him and his wife. He's got no shirt on. This dude is jacked. He does not look like a punter. Like he literally resembles George Kittle. George Kittle's bigger by about 20 pounds and, you know, extra 2 inches taller. But like, dude's jacked. It's impressive. He's 32 years old, ran a 4.6 40-yard dash. Now, mock draftable, I always play around with it because it just shows players, like, compared to others based on their combine testing. You type in Mitch Wishnowsky and you click the athlete button. It compares across multiple positions. Zach Wilson, the quarterback, you know, out of BYU. Jermaine Pratt, the linebacker. Those are his closest comps. This dude is a big man, and he's got more than one personal foul on kickoff coverage. He will hit somebody. Going into his 6th season, it took a while for him to kind of step up. His rookie contract, his first 4 years were his worst 4 years. They weren't good. He signs a big-time extension. We'll go into that. Then his play ascended. I'd say this previous year, I'd say top 5 punter, easy. You know, 2022, I think he was a top 10 punter. His rookie deal, he was average at best. He was not a You did not get an advantage because of him. His consistency was off, and he would shank a lot of times too. He seems to have completely eliminated that from his game the past 2 years, which I love. Went to Utah, but his journey to get to Utah and then get to the NFL after that is crazy. Went to Lumen Christi College and was a kinesiology major, 2-star recruit, and from Western Australia. He's born in Gosnells, a suburb of Perth, Western Australia. Then he went to New Zealand with his parents, lived in Hawke's Bay, grew up playing Aussie rules football, which I love, and was forced to give up the sport because of shoulder injuries. Dude hits hard. Like, you hit hard enough to get shoulder injuries, something's happening. Left school at the age of 17 to do an apprenticeship, glass installation. But when he was 12 years old, got really big into billiards, won this big billiards tournament, and then he went to like a punting competition and won. And then, kind of figured all this stuff out and went to Santa Barbara Community College. He found his ideal conditioning was a mix of hitting the weight room, playing beach volleyball with his teammates, and that's where he kind of got into the shape that he is now. Now, he gets picked up at Utah and just crushed it, man. 2016 Ray Guy Award winner. He's the only 3-time Ray Guy Award finalist in college football history. 3-time All Pac-12. You can go on and on. It's incredible what he was able to accomplish. Now, he gets drafted in the 4th round, pick 8. Not a late 4th rounder. This is an early 4th round pick. This was the Nashville draft. I remember I was there in person. We weren't broadcasting live for that one. And I remember I'm right in front of the stage. I've been waiting for this 4th round pick. And I get up there and I'm recording myself. And, with the stage in the background and the speaker, in the 4th round, pick 8, the 49ers select punter, Mitch Wishnowsky. And I just immediately started dropping F-bombs. And I was like, man, I can't put this video out there. It's negative. This is somebody's dream being achieved. But I was pissed. I ain't going to lie. And again, you look at all the players. I'm glad I deleted the video. I actually went back and looked for it to see if I could find it, but I'm glad I didn't. I think I did it last year. I tried to find it, and I was glad I didn't. I don't want to put that out there. Telling the story is hopefully just how I felt about the position and not Mitch Wishnowsky. I'm not an anti-Mitch guy. I'm just an anti-spending draft capital, especially premium 4th round draft capital, on a player that is a punter or a kicker or a long snapper. Don't want to give Shanahan any ideas there. Now, again, you just look like Jake Bailey was picked 53 spots after him, and Jake Bailey's got an All-Pro and a Pro Bowl. Other players are drafted after him: Tony Pollard, Dre Greenlaw, Hunter Renfrow, Gardner Minshew. I just think the opportunity of a 4th round pick, we didn't have a punter. We got to get a punter. Whatever. Take that for what you will. It really didn't have a good 4 years. I'm just going to be honest with you. Was average at best. Now he gets a 4-year, $11.2 million contract extension, which he got paid. Now, you look at those numbers now, we're 3 years out from that deal. He's the 10th highest paid punter per year, $2.8 million a year. He's 10th. Value, maybe by $500,000, but that counts. Career earnings, $7.6 million. Love that. And he got paid, but there's zero guaranteed money left on his deal. For the next 3 years, he's under contract. So, I doubt we get a punter holdout. They might shift some, guaranteed money his way. But if he doesn't perform or have a bad year, they can move on relatively easily. I don't think that's what they want to do. They want Mitch to be here for the life of this deal, especially the fact that his career arc, it's trending upward. Now, look at what he did last year, okay? Played in every game, 17 regular season games, all the playoff games. 47.7 average is the second best of his career. Only 2022 was better. My favorite thing is only 2 touchbacks last year. That's great. This dude has totally nailed the art of pinning down, and downing inside the 5 and 10 yard line. He had a 3.8 touchback rate, amazing. 26 punts inside the 20. It seems like twice a game, this dude's downing a punt inside the 20. That's really, really good. And so, again, top 5 punter last year, top 10 punter in 2022. We'll see. Can he get a Pro Bowl? Can he get something like that? I hope so. But, again, that Super Bowl performance, I went back and watched it recently. 4 punts inside the 20. He did his damn job, and then some. Maybe the favorite play that everybody else remember, he called his own fake punt it was 4th and 12 against the Seahawks in Week 13. He goes to punt it, and there's just no rush. And so he just tucks it and runs, gets the first down. Was not called a fake punt at all. Got called back. Ronnie Bell, the infamous Ronnie Bell, got a personal foul call. So, the play negated. It doesn't count on the stats or whatever else. But it's the only fake punt that's ever happened since Shanahan showed up in 2017. Shanahan's never called a fake punt, never allowed a fake punt to be called. The only one, and it worked, by the way, was Mitch just doing his own thing. Talk about the cojones on that guy. I bet Shanahan was like, don't ever do that again. Now, we got him in the 4th round. The one thing I will say is we traded back, okay? We traded back from 104 to 110 to the Bengals. The Bengals picked Ryan Finley. The 49ers, with the 2 picks they got Justin School and Mitch Wishnowsky in that draft. And, Justin School's no longer with the 49ers. He's playing with the Bucs. He played in all 17 games last year. He's a swing tackle. And Mitch Wishnowsky, both in the league. So they won the trade for sure. I still don't believe in drafting punters that high. He's played in 83 career games, 83 starts. He's a lock to make this roster. And it is fun, with the new kickoff rule. Mitch might be the new kickoff guy because, you don't want touchbacks. Mitch lost the kickoff duties because he could not kick a touchback. He couldn't do it. He's got the leg to punt, but it's a different motion and trajectory, doing the kickoffs. So he lost that job to Jake Moody. And a big reason why the 49ers spent a 3rd-round pick on Jake Moody was so they could get touchbacks. Well, NFL changed the rule a year later. 49ers voted against that rule. One of 3 teams, they wanted to keep it the way it was. So now, with shorter kicks off the tee, you want more height than anything. Mitch he's going to get some work. I think they want Jake Moody to win it, but Mitch, who thought he was done with kickoffs, not so fast, my friend. You might be the punter and kickoff guy. That Jake Moody would just be the field goal guy, which I would not be upset with. They're going to experiment. We'll see both in training camp work those things off of kickoff, and who knows what the 49ers approach is to that, but we'll see. So, Mitch, glad to have you on the team. It's crazy that it took him a while to get where he was going, but if you can get one more year as a top 5 punter like we did last year, that contract was worth it. You just need one more year. He's signed for 3 more. So if you told me right now we would get a top 8 punter performance from Mitch Wishnowsky this year, I'd sign up right now. Because I'm going to be honest with you, 49ers special team sucks. Mitch Wishnowsky, Samuel Womack, those 2 guys single-handedly kind of keeping us from being the worst special teams unit in the NFL. So, Mitch, keep doing your thing. You're a damn good player. And hopefully, man, I want to see a Pro Bowl All-Pro for him. I really, really do. He's close. He's closer to it than he is away from it, if that makes sense. So, Mitch, keep doing your thing. And for us, we'll just keep counting them down.